over the police, which is a national entity. So
Thank you very much. We won't be backing to the problems, we will be biting problems. We will make sure that we're dealing with problems. All these problems that I put on the table here, we've got solution. Firstly, I'm telling you that police took copper and gave to the boys to burn it, and so that they can give to the police to sell it. The boys, what they did, they took the copper to sell it so that they shared the money. The police hit them. What we're going to do now, we're going to make a case against those police. They must be fired. Those police must be fired. And we know in Muizenberg, the police that are involved in the taxi wars. You understand? Police are corrupt, and we'll make sure that they are fired.
I'm sorry, here's a candidate that I've not been able to... I'm sorry, Howard, we're running out of time. Is a candidate I've not been able to introduce? Okay. Please introduce yourself, sir.
Yes, good evening. Assalamu alaikum, Moweni, Siabo, and Haribo. My name is Mohsin Harris. I stand for Al Shura Party. Al Shura Party is merely a word that means mutual consultation, and we want to consult with all the communities in terms of their issues and the challenges that they have. One of the major things that we need to understand is that South Africa has, and whether it's the Cape Metro or whether it's South Africa, has a very poor human rights position, nationally as well as internationally. We every time speak of race, of tribalism, of ethnicity, of religious issues and so on. And we need to really get together and to start thinking like South Africans, and to say that we need to work together in order to do one united Ubuntu, one South Africa. Unless we start doing that, and we have a program. We've been working on this program for about 10 years now. We have a book, and we want to take this book right through the country and say, let us start taking hands and not look at people as white and black and I don't know what have you. That's the one thing. In terms of the economic growth, sustainable economic growth and development, Cape Townians have talents. They have a passion for doing things. We don't need to go to academic institutions and be told how to do these things. What we do need, however, is investment. And perhaps what we need to consider is to have a local stock exchange where we can take our monies, invest it, and reinvest it back into the communities in order to create those beautiful business opportunities and job creation. That is very foremost, because I believe in that every single one of you have a talent, have a passion, and want to live a secured life. And only if we start increasing on the economics can we really start doing something about the crime and etc., etc., etc. Thank you.
One question, please. Anyone at the back?
Comrade, like I hear that you said you are a consultative party. When you consulted as part of the parties around the sub-council 19, we spoke about talent. Our arts and crafts is talent. The land has been taken from the talent side in the name of economic development. To advance the one organization in Masiphumelele, that is Masicom, that is only maybe 80% of the land of Masiphumelele at the moment. As an NGO or as whatsoever Masicom it is, but because now, at the interest of the community, were you part of the consultation? How can you advise the councillor to say, return back the land to the rightful talents that the community need, not taxi rank?
It is a very, very relevant and valid point, particularly in Cape Town, in the mother city. We are saying that one of the commitments that we are making, regardless whether we're going to be in council or not, is to ask the appropriate authorities in terms of human rights to have a freeze on all land that is still unoccupied, or in your case, that we want to find out precisely who the owners are of the particular land and to return it to its rightful owners.
Okay, we have reached the end of our questionnaire process. So, Marek, what is our next point?
What we said was that there was going to be a chance for a few more questions, remember, and now if you had a burning one when somebody was speaking, you can now direct it to them, or you can direct it to all the candidates to see which is the best answer if you want, or who answers first. This will go on. We scheduled the meeting to end officially at 8:30, but give you some time for a little bit of individual interrogation of each other, and then you can have another cup of tea during that time.
Okay, so for this not to get out of hand, I think we need to limit that to maybe 3 questions. And I think we need to make those questions quick and sharp so that we can have a 1-minute answer to each one of them.
Yeah.
There's one gentleman here that's had a burning issue all evening. There's a gentleman here. I'll make it 4. You and you. Okay, so if I can have you, sir, at the back.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lunga.
Sorry, could I ask you to use the mic, please? You're a little bit soft. Thank you, sir.
Evening again. My name is Lunga. I'm a resident in Masiphumelele, which is a community that reflects exactly the apartheid legacy. Masiphumelele has been there for more than 20 years now. But if one can look on how Masiphumelele is being designed, it is designed based on what we've called the Segregation Act or the Group Areas Act. Masiphumelele is a community with one entrance. When you get there, you get in one entrance and then you'll go out in that entrance. Now I will pose this question to, let me give you this tag. They'll say Mr. Moletsane, a bourgeois title. I'll pose this question to you. You know that the sitting councillor today, Miss Felicity Purchase, has been there. And we know that her job was not to govern Ward 69, but to control the population in Masiphumelele. The evidence is that all the lands that are in Ward 69, the people of Masiphumelele are not allowed to occupy that land. Case in point is that in 2006, there was a fire in a place called School Site. And we gathered in Ping House in 2008 so that the people who are going to occupy the flats, which is Amakayangu housing project. I will give you the question, but the question must have a background so that you understand where is it coming from. Yes, you must get the context of the question. Here we're not here to play, but these councillors are going to represent us to better our lives. Yes. Now, the question, Mr. Moletsane, the case in point is that in 2008, we agreed as people of Masiphumelele that the people must not go to the place called Phase 4 for the TRA, the Temporal Residential Area, but the people must come to this land just opposite the Sunville here. The land that is being developed today. And Felicity Purchase, who is a sitting council, said we cannot have that land because that land belongs to St. Parks and there are some species, natural species, that are extinct. Now, but today, that land is being developed to an estate. Now, the question I have for you, how are you going to make it a point that Ward 69 belongs to all who live in it, black and white? The reason I'm asking this question, the manner in which Masiphumelele is designed, you will find that people who reside in Masiphumelele are black people, and theirs is to go in the morning to work for the white bosses and come back to Masiphumelele. You look, black people, black children, they move from Masiphumelele to play sport in Fishhook, but you don't have white children coming from Fishhook to play football in Masiphumelele. And now, lastly, in the issues of crime, we must be careful, because these crimes that we're talking about are only happening in particular in black communities. And the white kids are so scared to walk around in black communities because we have made to look like criminals. How are you going to address such, Mr. Mlitsana? Thank you.
Tulani, of course. Can you keep your answer shorter than the question?
Thank you very much, Mr. Matamba, for a good question. It's really a political question, and it has got a clear background on its own. But I think let me take you back to what I've said when I've presented my case here. You know, colleagues, what is happening? It's a pity that when you are not part of the problem, it is always difficult for you to understand what is happening. But once you become part of the problem, you will really have a clear background of what is happening and what needs to be done. What I want to raise here tonight is that, if you remember, we are part and parcel of the city of Cape Town. The city of Cape Town, that you can say, it's a two-tailed city. The city of the rich and the city of the poor people. What is happening currently in Masiphumelele is not a shame, but it's something that I can say, strategically and technically, it was properly planned a long time ago. Currently in Masiphumelele, we don't have space anymore to operate. In Masiphumelele, we've got the African people, we have got the foreign nationals. All foreign nationals that are coming from different countries. It looks like Masi is a dumping area. Because in the surrounding areas, there is no one who's prepared to accommodate those foreign nationals, except on employment issues only. Now, what you are saying as an African National Congress, the issue of the integration of communities, it must happen more practical, not as a theory. What piece of land you are having in Noordhoek, it must benefit the poor people of Masiphumelele. What you are having somewhere in Capri, it must really benefit the people of Masi. So that when we speak and talk about the integration of communities, we really mean it, but we are not spending more time on theory. In other words, what is happening? The issue of Masi Greater Development Framework, in the next coming 3 months, it must be reviewed so that you check whether it is benefiting or is going to benefit the poor. If not, it will be up to the new administration to ensure that there is a clear monitoring so that the poor people of Masi who are staying in water as we speak right now, they really benefit from what they have to benefit. Thank you.
Okay, please guys. Is there one more burning issue that we need to discuss?
I just think that
the supporters should gain a little bit of clarity with regards to that. The fact that the ANC government actually signed off that estate that they were mentioning, that the DA apparently. So.
Okay. This could be a very hotly contested. We agreed that I was going to take questions from very specific questions. Yours next, sir, please. Please, guys, respect for each other. No, I'm sorry, sir. Yes.
Good evening. My name is Patrick. I'm from Ocean View. My question that I had was answered by that gentleman. So So I'm going to change it. I'm going to talk to the current councillor, Mr. Lauko. There was a notice made that we didn't see you in Ocean View for a long time. And you dropped the name of the Ocean View Civic Association, falling apart. You're right, sir, the Ocean View Civic Association did fall apart for the mere fact that we were undermined by the city. And I will make one example. We were all part of the MERP plan as a group. And we had 8 meetings with 4 different project managers. And we took off our work to attend these meetings, but nothing, not up till today, came forth about it. And we now know that a community action plan was signed, which we weren't part of. People, our own people didn't believe us anymore because they said that nothing came of our interaction with the city. So that's an undermine. So what I want to know from you, if you are elected in this term, will we be able to have a commitment from you to recall you from your job if you don't do your duty?
Patrick, there are 2 things. One, the Mayor's Urban Regeneration Project is just that, it's a Mayor's project. I don't have control over it, and I was, like you, invited to those meetings. I cannot answer for the Mayor or the project. I do understand we had people and project managers coming and going, and I was equally disappointed, but we did get a lot of project out of that, and Alderman Purchase at the sub-council level is more familiar with those, with how those came out and what projects came under her auspices. But in terms of recall, the people vote me, not just a portion of the people in Ocean View. The whole ward votes me. I would have to resign. You can't be recalled. Once you're elected by the people, you are legally there. The only thing, there is a code of conduct for councillors to comply with, and if they don't comply with it, then they get recalled by their own party in our case, and it does happen. And then there would have to be another by-election, which costs quite a deal of money. But those things are, those questions are sort of flimsy. I mean, I don't know. There's nothing concrete to it.
Can I respond? Mr. Lauko didn't give me a correct answer. I have it on note that a councillor, if anybody's got the right to know, a pamphlet here, it says there that we can get a commitment from...
no, sir. The Right to Know campaign, no. The statement from the Right to Know campaign is a process driven by the Right to Know campaign. They are trying to ensure that candidates in future sign such a document. It's not as part of their contract at this stage. Okay. It's a good campaign to drive then, perhaps. No, I'm sorry, sir. I've got to stick to the process that I'm doing here.
Why are you running away from me?
I'm not running
away from me. I just want to be short. I just want to be short here.
Yes, sir.
I'm worried that because the time is so limited.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, to lecture the brothers and sisters here about these things of this land, of this country. The brothers, you and me, we buy this land for nearly a cent. They called 99 year leasehold, you know that, in the previous government. That's why we see this kind of land here developed by those who are richer than another one. You know, I'm worried that because other people, they don't know that. And I'm still worried about the people called, because this is a culture of another people that fishing is the colored. No, we must not use that kind of word here. Colored is the slavery word that we used in the days of masters. And then the masters came here in this country with the word called colored. No, that's not a point of order. We must not divide the people here, calling the people that are color lines.
Excuse me, sir. I hear you. I respect what you're saying. I understand your concern for the phraseologies that's being used here tonight. But I think that's a point that we need to move on from. Yes, sir.
My name is Jeremy from Ocean View, Ward 61.
Please, guys, respect for the speaker.
First of all, I heard what the councillor said when he made his opening remark. He said he gave us actually what his job is his main purpose for council is for the sewerage and the roads and all that. That's his job. Is it correct? Okay. So in other words, that tells me that our situation in Ocean View is hopeless because he's going to concentrate on the roads. His first priority is roads, sewerage, and refuse. Housing, our schools, our clinics, and all those essential social issues is not part of his job. Then we must go and look for somebody else. So I want to ask, especially I heard Johan saying he's been in the community for long. What is his response? What will he do for our community in that regards? Because I can see the councillor won't do anything to assist our community. No, that's not what I said. Well, you said it's not part of his job.
I'm sorry, sir, I just want a point of clarity. Do you want an answer from Johan, or do you want an answer from...
No.
Okay.
You already stated his job. I want Johan to let the answer to respond.
Sorry, who else did you want to respond?
Johan. And then Ward 61.
Okay. In fairness, you made an accusation against a particular councillor. He needs to answer, but
I
want these two.
I did ask him what his job is. He said,
Okay.
No, he already told us in the beginning.
Can I please, this is a point of order, give Johan an answer, a chance to answer, Mr. Joma a chance to answer, and then clarity.
Thank you, sir. What I've been doing for the last few years is fighting for better schooling in Ocean View. As you know, Ocean View schools are built. There are 3 schools, each built for 800 kids. And there's over 1,200 kids per school. Average 40 to 50 a class. And I've met 3 times now with the MEC of Education. They're not budging. They're not doing anything. So my next step, which is correspondence, is going up to Minister Macheka, who's the ANC. They are aware of what's going on. So that is being addressed. All right. The clinic at Ocean View, which is supposed to also reach out to the adults of Masipumaleli, is long overdue. That is a city issue. That needs to be taken up with the mayor, which is what I mentioned earlier. This is something that should have been taken to caucus in 2007, whenever the DA took over. They should have fought for that. There is no plans to enlarge that clinic adequately. The other issue is issue and safety. What I've been pushing for is for law enforcement office to be moved down that way. It's currently, look, police is national, we've discussed that already. That I'm afraid the ANC brothers need to take up with their politicians. But law enforcement is a DA city thing, and we've been fighting. When I was a CPF chair back a few years back, I was fighting for law enforcement and Metro to have an office on that side of the 4-way stop that operates 24 hours a day. It's not that hard. They tell me it's a union matter. I don't think that's an acceptable answer. But when you consider that we have 1 police van for Ocean View and Kommetjie, and on some Friday nights 1 police van for Ocean View, Kommetjie, and Masipumaleli, then the city needs to give us a backup of Metro and law enforcement. So those are the 3 main issues. But we have to differentiate between national and we have to differentiate between provincial. I think both have dropped us. That's my point. I hope that answers.
Anybody object?
No.
Thank you very much. And thank you to all for allowing the ANC to put here tonight. It's now become what we say human rights issues. And it's for too long, far too long, has spiraled out of control. Definitely, the ANC are saying we're putting power back into our communities. In other words, we're addressing all the social problems that there is so that services can be delivered. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There's one candidate here that just wants to raise a point, please. And then, guys, if we may please, just one. Sorry. Okay, so I'm sorry, could I give you? And I just want to. We've got a point of order here, please, sir.
Yeah, thank you. There were some accusations made against me on what I said and what I didn't say, and you were quite incorrect. I didn't say it. The Constitution says it. The Constitution gives you your mandate for local government. And that's what it is. The main service delivery for a local government is roads, water, electricity, sanitation, solid waste. The rest of it, social development, substance abuse, law enforcement, are my focus, is what I said. I will be focusing on law enforcement and substance abuse. That's what I said. The city has done housing, we're doing the roads, all of those things are happening under my government.
Thank you, Councillor. Did that answer you, sir?
No.
Yes, sir, sorry?
He didn't say, he said that is his focus. That was his focus. That he's going to concentrate on.
Okay, thank you very much. Point of order here.
Thank you. If I can take a moment here to get us to take a step back from everything that we've heard, take a bird's eye view of what Simon just said, which I think is fair, what this gentleman raised, which is absolutely fair, and realize that in 5 years' time, we're going to be back in this hall having the exact same conversation. Exact same conversation. Why? Simon referred to the Constitution being the place where he gets his orders from, and all councillors get their orders from, the ANC, the DA, the ruling parties. If we want to change things, we're going to have to start at the core of the matter. We're not going to be able to change things pleading with councillors saying, oh, will you please do this? Or political parties saying, we're going to do a better job than that party. No, we're a new party, we're going to do it better than that party. The problem is the structure itself. And I don't blame the ANC as a whole for that. Let me correct what I said, for you, to that gentleman earlier. Let me rephrase, not money being spent on Nkandla. That was 264 million. Let's rather talk about the arms scandal, which was 64 billion rand. Did we really need submarines and tanks and fighter jets? 64 billion rands when we're suffering with these types of problems? I don't think so. So that would have been a better analogy, so I apologize for not giving a better one. I'm sorry, they had a long time to speak, so I'd like to just get a few points out here. So if we don't look at the core issue, that South Africa itself is the problem. It's not the ANC. We had the apartheid government. It's a centralized political state. Before that, it was the British Empire. In 1910, we were independent states before 1910. It was only after the British Empire forced us into the colonial union of South Africa in 1910 that they took the Cape, the Boer republics of the Free State and Transvaal, Natal, Lesotho, and Swaziland. In 1948, yes, exactly. This is the language Afrikaans. It's a confluence of Dutch and Malaysian and Indonesian and Khoisan. It's the roots of what we are here in the Cape. We've got a unique identity, and Afrikaans is a personification of that, and we need to be proud of it. And it's trying to be eradicated, and both the DA and the ANC are trying to destroy the Afrikaans language, along with economic policies which discriminate against 70% of the Cape population. What we're saying at the Cape Party is that we have got a culture and a value system here in the Cape that needs to be preserved. That's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old. And the ANC is destroying it. The apartheid government was destroying it. And the British Empire caused the problem in 1910. What we're saying here at the Cape Party is we need to respect each other and put in place a system of direct democracy. This is what Switzerland uses. Switzerland is full of Germans, French, Italians, and Romansk. Yet they did not fire a single bullet at each other. Let me just get this point out, sir. They did not fire a single bullet at each... We're trying to solve the problem here. They did not fire a single bullet. If we want Khoisas and Zulus and Afrikaners and English speakers to get together, we need to have direct democracy.
Point of order, no, with due respect, a point of order, we have been to School of History, my friend. Please, all we need now, what candidates, what are you going to do in our wards? This whole history that you are giving us. No. Just give us a one candidate to tell us what.
Okay, my brief answer, sir. My brief answer, sir. Let me get to the point then. By voting for any of the mainstream parties, let me start with a quote from Albert Einstein. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. We've had 22 years of the same political rhetoric. Perhaps we should try something different. At the Cape Party, we're saying we should make the Cape an independent country, or at least have more autonomy. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Please, thank you very much. I think we've had a lot of political rhetoric. I certainly had my full of it. I would like to give one honourable opportunity to retired Ward Councillor Nikki Holderness as a closing talk, as one of our oldest political players in the field.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And to all of you that I do know, one way or the other, this isn't going to be a party political speech. I was a councillor for 30 years. And now I'm old. So I've been around the block, and I was an independent, and then I joined a political party. And all I want to say to you is that for me, the most important level of government in the whole country is local government. Because that's what you live with, that's where you live, and everything we've talked about tonight not everything we've talked about tonight is as important as having a ward councillor who responds to you, who comes to speak to you, who hears you, and does the best they can to make your lives better. And I know that everybody in this room wants us all to have a better life. And I just wish you and the candidates good luck, and I wish us in South Africa, in this beautiful part of the world, God's richest blessings. And I'm sure that things will improve if we work together. And I think we can, because we are here. And really and truly, you know, if you don't have good roads, it means you can't move. If you haven't got good schools and you haven't got good clinics, it means you can't be healthy. And if you haven't got land that you can grow your family on, then you will never be happy. So let's work together and make this the place, the best place in South Africa.
Thank you very much, everybody. I could not have said it better myself. Thank you very much, Nikki. I would like to thank our candidates. I would like to thank everybody for their patience, although we had some hairy moments. But thank you very much for your patience and for your participation in the process. Patrick, we're going to try and get some information out from this. Yes. Okay. And we will get back to you. I want to ask, please. I pray that we have peaceful votings on the 3rd. We need patience as we stand in the queues. We need to respect each other in the different parties. Please drive home safely. There is some tea and coffee if we want to chat afterwards, so if you just want to catch up with some of the candidates, you're welcome to do so. But other than that, thank you very much, and drive home safely. Thank you.